How's it going, everybody? This is Stickman Reaper, and this is MWO, or MechWarrior Online. Now, I've watched a lot of streams of this, and a lot of the streamers I've watched have been kind of interested in making a tutorial video for this. So I thought I'd make one for noobs by a noob. I haven't been playing this game very long. I mean, I have a founder's title and everything, but I don't have very many games played, and I don't really own any mechs except for the one you see in front of you. So first off, we're going to start off by, just going through the basics of the way this is laid out. So right now we're looking at our home page, which your home page is where you start off at when you load up the game. This is also your default page when you get out of a match. You go directly to home. On your home page, you have a whole bunch of tabs up top, which we will talk about them. You also have tabs on the left here, which we will talk about as well. And you have numerous other things around that I will explain a little bit so that you guys understand what they're for and everything like that. So the first tab on the left, which are these, which we will be talking about first. The first tab is your Mech Select tab. This is the tab you use to select a mech you wish to play in. So I've got my Yen Lo Wang's Centurion out there, so this time I'm going to go to my Atlas. And now our Atlas is up and ready to go. This tab, you can pull any mech you want as long as you have access to it. You have access to mechs you own, and you also have access to mechs that are on the trial. Here you can see owned. They count them as owned here, but you don't actually own them. You just have them for trial. So Adder is a trial mech, says I own one. Now this also shows you what style mech it is, light, heavy, assault, or medium, and how many of them you own. Now if you own more than one, chances are you own one and a variant of it, so different layout, and we'll get into that in a little bit. So I've got my Atlas out, and we'll get to that in a second. Next is your inventory. Your inventory tab gives you all battle mechs you own in kind of a list form, so they're a little easier to go through them. Also, all of your weapon systems, all of them, and the quantity and the sell price if you wish to sell some. Equipment, such as heat sinks and different things you can add to your mech to change how they play, engines, different kind of heat sinks, like this one here. I have a double heat sink as well. This is where your jump jets go if you decide to pull them off, and we'll get into those in a little bit when I give a little more explanation of the mechs themselves. Modules, I don't actually have any, but these are modules like well, I'll show you some when we get to the mechs tab. I don't have any though. And Omnipods, I don't have any of those either. I think those are for like Omni mechs that you can switch pieces of a mech to another mech of the same type. I don't know. I looked it up and it's a little weird. I'll try to look up a little more and do another video on it if you guys want me to. So that's just the Mech Select and the inventory. You also have achievements. Now, achievements in this game are done a little differently than most games that do achievements. So if you play any games, you probably know what achievements are. There are things you can do in the game to get stuff. Most of the time, you get achievement points, which are useless. But in this game, like a few others, but just a few, when you do an achievement, you get something for it, such as this one right here, destroy 10 components. I got 5,000 C-bills, which are a currency you can get in-game by playing matches and doing achievements and such. There are 3 types of achievements for the most part. There are normal achievements, which is the one I just showed you, this one, and then there's different tiers of that achievement. You have you have like the final stage of those achievements, which only give you a title. Okay, after that, you only get a title, you don't get anything else as far as I understand. And then you have the final one, which are the cadet achievements. Now, for you new players, for us noobs, these are your best friends, cadet achievements. Cadet bonuses, cadet achievements are achieved by completing a match. You don't even have to win. You just complete it, and you get free money. Once you complete all 25 of them, you get a decent amount of money. I have to, I don't remember how much money you get. I'll put a link in, or I'll put a thing in the description saying how much you actually get. I'll add it all up. I should have done that earlier, but yeah. And then under the achievements, you have faction loyalty, which I'll go into this on a later video because the whole faction thing is complicated. It's a whole video on its own. So, okay, so that's basic achievements, real quick, cut and dry. So the other two, the statistics are the statistics of your account. So your kill death ratio, I think it's got like matches won or something. I don't exactly remember, but it's basically your account statistics, and that's a external window. So if you click on that, I'll show you. It brings up this confirm thing here, which kind of lets you know that it's going to bring it up in your browser. Same thing with redeem code. That's where you would go to redeem a code if you say won a prize on Twitch, or you get a code and email from the company or whatever. That's what this does. And again, it's the same thing. It brings it up in your browser. You have testing grounds, which is a place you go to test a mech, to figure out a few things about it and everything else. You also have tutorials. Now, if you're watching this and you haven't done the tutorials, you should go do the tutorials. The tutorials, let me learn how to talk here. The tutorials take roughly 5 minutes. And they give you the basics on how to move your mech. If you haven't done them, go ahead and go do them real quick. Hit the pause button. Don't worry, I'll wait. Are you done? Good. Alright, so once you've done the tutorials, you know how to move your mech for the most part. There's a few minor things you can learn by playing, but for the most part, you know how to move your mech forward, back, up and down, whatever. So, here on the home page, you also have your current mech box here. Shows you the current mech, the actual name, and its designation. So I've got the Atlas AS7 TAC S, which its designation is AS7 TAC S. I can hit the configure button. We'll get into that in a second. Then you have your premium time, which is kind of like subscribing to the game. You get bonuses for doing it, but you don't get anything extra. So you get bonus C bills, which is money, and bonus experience, but you don't get anything extra for it. So it's handy, it's not needed. And this is your currency window. This shows you your C bills and your Mech Cash. I think that's what MCU stands for. But Mech Cash is the paid currency. Now, I have some because I've been getting some for the Christmas event that's going on. So, yeah, that's where I got them. So that's that. You have your logout button here. This bottom spot right here shows up in whatever window you're in. I even think it shows up in the store. It does. So it shows up in every window you're in. This that has your logout, your settings here, which are pretty self-explanatory. Fully rebindable keys, which is really nice. One thing I do wish they had is shift acceptable buttons like Shift 1 or Shift 2. I wish they had that, but they don't. You also have your video, your game, and all this stuff. And then this little itty-bitty button right here, I really wish they'd make this bigger, but this little itty-bitty button is your socials tab. Your friends, your notifications, your unit, which is kind of like a clan or a guild type thing. So that's where that is. Okay, next we have the Mech Lab. The Mech Lab is where you would go to change the loadout or what weapons and equipment you have on your mech. This is also the only place you can spin your mech around if you want to look at like paint jobs or if you want to look at different parts of the mech. This is the only place. I wish they'd allow you to do it at home, but you can't. So when you go to the Mech Lab, you're gonna be given this window right here. It's gonna be default on all, which is showing you all the mechs you own. I only own 3, so that's all it shows. But you can also set them up for trial, which you can't really affect these. I mean, you can't even bring them into this. I wish you could, for specific reasons. Main reason is doing it for weapon groups. I really wish they would allow you to open up these guys in the Mech Lab just for weapon groups. It would make it so easy and so much more convenient to do it in here instead of having to go into the training grounds, which we will go into the training grounds, and I will show you guys how to work with the weapon grouping system and a couple other things in there. So, but if anybody who knows people who work on this game, the developers or anything, I really wish that you could bring these guys into the mech lab, the trial mechs into the mech lab for weapon grouping only. You know, that's probably just, you know, a noob thing, but, you know, hey, noobs are people too. Remember that. So, we're going to go back to all, and you can even go, you know, light, medium, heavy, assault, champion, certain things about champions I don't remember exactly, and then hero mechs, well, they're the variants of mechs that you buy with real money that give you, they're just another variant, but they have a pretty paint job, pretty much. So we're going to go back to all, and we're going to go to our atlas. We're going to hit the configure, which is going to bring them into here. Now, on the left you have back, which just brings you back to home. Then you have configure. You have your loadout, which affects, which is where you would go to change out weapons to affect everything else on the mech. Then you have modules. Now this is the thing I was showing you in the inventory. These are modules. Modules are things you can add to your mech, such as consumables. You have zoom features. You have like different things you can use on the mech that are not equipment. They're pilot-based and not mech-based. So we'll get into that when we get into the skills tab. And then you have, you know, you have mech-specific, you have consumables, and then you have weapon-specific, which are things you can put on there to increase weapon stuff. Pretty self-explanatory. If you want to take the time to actually look at these, you can, you know, click on it and if you highlight over it, it'll bring up the window over here on the right. You can see the big black window over there. It'll show you, it'll explain to you what they do and what they're for. So, okay, so that's modules. So upgrades. Upgrades are different pieces of just mass upgrades you could do to the mech. So, for instance, I've got standard armor, which is this right here. I can put this in there instead. I can, but I mean, you could if you had the slots. You could also, you know, put the endo steel structure, which it already has in there, or you can do the standard structure, which is, most mechs start with that, so it's free. This would cost money, and then I can put back standard heat sinks if I need more room or whatever, standard guidance and stuff. You know, if you put your cursor over these and just let it sit there, right? Oh, well, I wish it actually told you what these did. There's another thing. Another thing. Give us information on what these actually do, please. Another noob thing. Remember, we're people too. Okay. So, that's these upgrades. These are just upgrades to your mech themselves. You just place them in there and they do their thing. So, then you have your camo spec, which is your paint job. And all that affects is the way your mech looks. You can purchase them. I think you can unlock some through different ways. I'm not exactly sure, but for the most part, you just have to purchase them. But all they do is change the way your mech looks. That's it. You also have cockpit, which brings up the cockpit of your thing, of your mech, so you can put different pieces of equipment in there. You have to buy these again. I mean, there are a few you can get for Christmas by playing, like I got the stocking here through playing and through the Christmas event. But you can buy all kinds. You can buy different countries and stuff like that. You can buy little statuettes of your mech or little flags of your favorite clan or inner sphere group or inner sphere house. My apologies. You could get all kinds of different things, and you know, they don't really have any purpose other than they look cool. So, you know, that's pretty much their whole purpose, is they just look cool. Then you have weapon groups, which is where I wish you can bring trial mechs in here specifically for this little button right here, which, you know, it brings up your weapon groups. You can do it in here. You can affect your weapon groups, and I will go into more in-depth detail on this whole thing when we go into the training ground. I'll show you guys what it does and what it's for and stuff like that. You can rename your mech. I don't care what my mech is named. It doesn't really bother me, but you can rename your mech anything you want. I don't know if it shows up or not. Probably does. Or you can strip your mech. Now, when you strip your mech, you can strip it of all equipment. That means your engine, your heat sinks, anything on your mech will be stripped completely. Your mech will be butt naked, basically. It'll have its armor points, that's it. Then you can strip it all of armor, so you can go equipment, modules, and armor, and just make it nothing, just empty it. Well, this guy has weapons on him, so let's empty him of weapons. Alright, so now I have an empty Atlas, no weapons at all, and you can actually tell on him. He doesn't have the big cannon on his left or on his right torso. He doesn't have the things on his arms. You know, he's empty. So, we're going to first start on his right torso. Now, if you look at this piece right here, this little window right here, this gives your armor, your front and rear, and you can adjust that by going down or up. If you go down, it reduces your weight, which is your tonnage down here, down at the bottom here. But it's very minuscule. So, you know, I usually just leave those alone. When you get a little better, when you start doing this a lot more, you can tweak with that to get like the perfect mech. I just leave it alone. You'll also notice this little purple bullet thing here with a 1. That is a hardpoint marker. That is showing you what kind of hardpoint is in this specific area. The right torso of this mech has 1 ballistic hardpoint. That's what the purple bullet things are, is a ballistic hardpoint. You can also tell by over here on the left, when you open up one of these drop-down menus, they'll have what kind of weapons are in there. So if we go to the left torso, for instance, it's got missiles. It's got a teal dart thing. It means it's got a missile hardpoint. This one's actually got 4. So it's missiles over here. If we go to the right arm, it's got a lightning bolt, which is energy. If we go to the left arm, it's got a lightning bolt and it's got a target, like a radar thing, which is equipment. It can hold certain kinds of equipment in there. And again, with these, if you highlight over them, it gives you what they do, their purpose, their weight, basically the details of that piece of equipment. And you can also put ammo in there. So now, we're going to build this guy up again, because I stripped him down. So, we're going to start with the right torso. We're going to put a AC-20 in there. Now you can see, with this, you have all these dynamic structure slots. That means that they can basically be used for anything, as far as I know. And when you click on something to equip it, and you drag it over, you get this colored box. Now how many slots that box fills is how many slots that weapon will take. So if I drop it in there, I should have 2 slots left over. I have 2 slots left over, and my 1 hardpoint is now gone. Now if I want to use this, I'll have to add ammo, but we'll get into that in a second. So if we go to left torso, this is where the missiles are. So you can see I can put LRMs in there, which are long-range missiles. I can put SRMs in there, which are short-range missiles. I'm going to put 2 LRM-15s in there. Why? Because I can, and I own them. Why not? Okay, so now we're going to go to the right arm. Just go over here to the left, click on the right arm. I have 1 energy hardpoint. So I personally like the PPCs. I'm going to put a PPC in there. And I'll get into explaining the weapons when we get into the game. I'll show you a couple different things you can do, and I'll explain some of the weapons. So if we go to the left arm, it's got the same thing, but this one has an equipment slot. I'm not going to bother with equipment because I don't own any, and I don't feel like buying any. So, and I never use this mech anyway, so. Again, I have 1 energy slot, so I go over here to energy, and I'm going to throw another PPC on there. So, now, he is basically fully fitted out. But if you look down here at the mech details, down here, I have this diamond, or this triangle here. Now, if you click on the triangle, it will tell you what it's for. It says I have no ammo for my AC-20 or my LRM-15s. So now, you have to put ammo in. Now, it doesn't matter where you put the ammo in. Whatever the ammo is for, will get it. So you don't have to put it in the same area. So I can even go down to the leg here and drop ammo in, and it'll still get to the weapon it's meant for. I'm actually going to do that. Why not? So I'm going to put some ammo. I need some AC-20 ammo. If you look, They say what they're for, so I need AC-20 right here. Each ammo box takes up 1 slot and is 1 ton of weight. I'm at 95 of 100 tons. So I'm going to put 2 in the right leg. Right, yeah. 2 in the right leg. I'm going to go to the left leg. Go to ammo. I'm going to put 1 AC-20 ammo in the left leg. And then I'm going to put LRM ammo, which is for the LRM. I'm going to put 1 LRM ammo in the right leg, or in the left leg. I know my right's for my left. Don't worry. And then I'm going to go back up to the center torso, because I have 2 here, but I don't have enough slots, so I would only be able to put 1 weapon here. I find I don't have a purpose to put a weapon in there, so I'm just going to fill it with ammo. I'm going to fill this with LRM ammo. Now, if you look at the LRM, or if you look at the ammo you're looking at, and you let it bring up, it'll show you how many shots each ton gives you. And yes, these ones here with 1/2, that's half a ton of ammo. So, but for the LRMs, you know, it takes up 1 slot, gives 1 ton, and it gives me 180 shots, or 180 ammo per ton. And I've got a couple tons here. I've got 1 ton there. I think left leg had another ton, and then I have a whole crap ton of AC ammo. I'm actually going to get rid of AC ammo, because I don't use AC all that often, and put another LRM in there, because you will go through LRMs a lot. So, there he is. He is now done. I can hit, oh, and then once you're done, be sure to hit this thing right here, this cart box. Be sure to hit the save, because if you don't, you'll lose everything. So hit it, okay, it's saving data. If what you put on your mech would have cost money, it would have told you how much it would have cost. When you hit save, it would have said, this is what it's going to cost, and you buy it. Now that he's done, I can get, I can get an overall look of it without having to go through each piece and look what happens, or look what he has on there. If you go to this little blue box right here, this little blue bar box thing, this Mech Details blue box thing, click on that, and it will give you just a overlook of what your mech has equipped on it, and you can't really affect anything, but you can go to equipment. Or you can go to equipment and it'll show you the equipment, it'll show you camo specs, everything. This basically gives you just a quick look, like a loadout look of it, of what this is. So, now that we've got our mech, we can go home. Now we're going to look at skills. So, for skills, when you play games in this, you gain 2 things. You gain C-bills, which is your currency, and you also gain experience. Now, there are 2 types of experience. There is general experience, which can be used for anything, and there is mech experience. Mech experience is used on updating or upgrading your mechs through basically passive bonuses and such. So we're going to look at the first one because I have a crap ton of experience on this thing and know how and can't spend it because it's a trial. But anyway, so if you go to the mech tree here, it'll bring up this right here. Now let's go to one you can actually see. So we'll go to the, where is he? Centurion. We'll go to this one here. So if you look at this, you have, dang it, I have some on there too. Let's go with the Atlas. I don't ever use the Atlas. Where's the Atlas? There you are. Okay, Atlas. There we go. So if you go to the details button, or the mech tree button, I'm sorry, mech tree, it'll bring up your mech's kind of like skills tree basically. And as you play games with that particular mech, you gain experience for it, and you can unlock different things. If you click on it, it'll bring a description of it up here and give you another, indication of how much it costs. And you can upgrade these to your heart's content. Once you've upgraded, once you've purchased all basic tier, so these first 8 here are basic tier. Once you've purchased them all on all three different variants of the same chassis, you unlock the elite, and then I think it's anyway, then you unlock the elite, and I think it's 2 or 3 again to unlock the masters, and so on and so forth. So, and then So that's for your mech, and you get that, and you get that on your mech. And say I have a mech that I can't use, or that I'm not using anymore. So I can go here, and you can exchange XP. This button here. If you exchange XP, it will use your MC, your mech cache. I think that's what it's called. But it will use that. So it uses in-game real-life or a real-life currency to exchange XP from a mech to general. So it's handy. I mean, if you have a crap ton of experience on a mech that you can't use because you've maxed it out or whatever, you can exchange it to general to do other things. So now we're going to look at the pilot tree. Now the pilot tree has a whole bunch of different broad skills you can do. You can go to mech skills, which are used to unlock different modules. Like I have the advanced zoom unlocked, which allows me to put in an advanced zoom module on any mech as long as I own it. I can't do it on trial, but you can do it on any mech you own. And that's what these are. Most of these are really expensive, but a couple are, 5,000, which you can get in a couple hours if you do okay. I don't do very well, so it took me about a day. Next, so after that, and then you can set them up by specific, visual, target, support, and sensor. Pretty self-explanatory if you click on them. Right here, it shows you what they do. Then again, it reiterates the cost. So you have consumables, which is basically your normal consumables, which you find in the store. It upgrades them, makes them a little more powerful when you use them instead. You don't need these to use the consumables. You just get these to increase the consumables effect, kind of thing. So it's like a consumable buff, and it's permanent. If you get it, it's permanent. It's not for your next one. It's permanent. It's forever. Then you have weapons. Now, when you start upgrading weapons, there are 3 things you can upgrade them for. You can upgrade them with range, which it just increases their maximum range, which in turn increases their range at which they do their maximum damage, which we'll get into that when we get into the testing grounds. I'll explain a little bit of that later. Then you have cooldowns, allows you to use the weapons more. And then you have miscellaneous for some of your weird weapons. I don't use them. I'm not going to get into them because I don't understand them. As of right this moment, I will do research, and in the next video, if you guys want me to, I can look into those and kind of give you guys a more detailed explanation of what they do. But that's basically this, and all of these pilot trees, all of these pilot skills, all use your general EXP, your GXP here, okay, which you get through playing, and you can also pull off of other mechs. Again, you have to spend MC for it. But you can pull it off to mechs to be able to buy these, to be able to get different things, different modules for your mechs, to upgrade your consumables, to give passive bonuses to your weapons. If you find like a favorite weapon you like, if you're like me and you like PPCs, I've upgraded my PPCs a couple times to increase their range and give me a faster rate of fire, reduce their cooldown. So that is that. That is a basic rundown of skills and how they work. Next, we will go back to home. Next, we will go into the testing grounds. So I'm actually going to select a mech that's better suited for that I prefer. Not that one, where is it? The Nova. Okay. Oops. Come on. Okay. Now that I have the Nova, I'm going to hit the testing grounds. Whenever you decide to try a mech, I would suggest going into the testing grounds to test it. Also, to work with its weapon grouping, so you don't have to do it in a match, as if it's a trial mech. If it's not a trial mech, just go to the mech lab, then pick your mech, and then go to weapon sets and fix it there. I would still say go to the testing grounds to test the heat so that you don't blow yourself up, and I'll show that because this mech can kill itself, which is really funny. But, I would say go to the testing grounds with every mech before you go out for the first time, just to give it a test run to make sure everything's working correctly, and everything like that. So, I'm going to test this out, which means I'm going to go to the testing grounds, and it gives you a list of different maps you can get into while playing. Now, each map has its passive abilities, like vision and Heat, some maps generate more heat, some maps dissipate more heat, as in they're cooler, some maps are hotter, some maps have kind of a haze that makes, reduces your unaltered vision, and we'll look into vision alters when we get in. So I'm just going to go to the top because it's the easiest. So fourth colony, I'm going to hit OK. Alright, now that we're in, you notice that there's a lot of things on the screen to look at. So first, can I actually bring my... No, okay. So first you see the bar up top. That bar is explained a little bit in the tutorial, but that's basically your compass. That's also where your legs and torso meet. That shows you how far your torso is moved away from your legs. Then you have your centerpiece here, right here. I wish I could show you guys, but I don't have a cursor right now. The centerpiece with the 6 little squares around it, that is your weapon slot, or your weapon group marker. That shows you when your weapons are available again. So if I were to shoot something, weapon group 1, I shot weapon group 1, box 1, the top box on the left, went red. When it goes back to blue, or whatever color you have your HUD set to, it's ready to fire again. It's kind of cool, so you don't have to look over to your weapon slot, or your weapon set box area over here. And I'm actually pointing at the screen like you guys can see me. But so you don't have to go look at that to make sure your weapons are set. You have it right in front of you. Now, you also have your little paper doll thing on the bottom left. It shows your mech, it shows all its pieces, and it shows through colors how damaged they are, and we'll go into that here in a second. Then you have the big square at the bottom, which is your map. Now this took me a little while, apparently because I'm dumb, but whatever, to figure out how to bring it up, and that's B, by the way. B is in Bravo, to bring up your big map, which is very handy. I would suggest using that a lot. So, now that we've got the basics, here is how you affect your weapon slot, or your weapon sets over there on the bottom right. You would use the directional pad for that. So I'm at number 1. I don't know if you guys can see that very well, but I am now at the top 1, first group. So if I want to make that part of group 1, I would highlight it, so I'm going to go up to 1, and then I hit Control. And that basically now sets it part of group 1. And for me, group 1 is left mouse button. Now I've got that one being fired with the first group. To remove it from a group, you just hit right control again, and it removes it. And basically, the purpose of doing this, the purpose of setting weapon groups, is a good way to mitigate heat. It's also a good way to separate weapons from the left side of your mech to the right side of your mech. This mech has a crap ton of the same weapon, but you can also set weapon groups for specific weapons. Like if you have a mech with a couple medium lasers, a couple large lasers, and say an autocannon, you can set each one to different groups so that you're firing the same type of weapon at any given point. So for me, I have weapon 1, which is mouse button, which is left mouse button, 2, left mouse button, and then 3 and 4 are, again, numbers 3 and 4 for me. Now, if you look at weapon set 4, I have it highlighted here. If you look at weapon set 4, it's got this weird trickling box effect. That's chain fire. Chain fire is something you use to use weapons, but don't use them all at the same time. So if I were to, like, I'll show you guys 1, 2, and then if I were to use my 4, it's on chain fire. So here's 4. When 1 is done firing, the next one starts. It's a good way of mitigating heat. It's a good way of saving ammo type thing. It's just handy. And I would suggest using it on mechs that have really high heat, like if you're going to use the Nova Prime. This right here, how I have it, is a good way of setting it up to mitigate heat and not kill yourself. So it's 3 on weapon set 1, 3 on weapon set 2, and the rest on weapon set 4, ignore the 3s, but the rest on weapon set 4 being set with chain fire so that you don't kill yourself. So, now, you have zoom, which for me is middle mouse button. You'd have to look at your keyboard settings to find out exactly what it is for you, but for me it's middle mouse button. So, and if you want to see a target, you can either just highlight over it and damage it and it'll automatically target for you. But if, say, I have him targeted and I want to target this guy, just highlight over him or get close, and for me it's R, and that'll target him. After a second, up on the top right, and again I'm pointing at it like you guys can see me, up at the top right you have more paper dolls. Basically the same thing you have on your bottom right, you have for your target on the top right. Shows you the weapons on the left. You know, he's using an SRM2, medium laser, and a large laser. It also gives you the paper doll showing damage dealt to different areas and how damaged other areas are. So if we were to go and damage his arm, or his right torso, you can see that it changed colors. He also lost that outline. When a mech loses that outline, he's lost all armor. Now he's just showing bare innards. You can damage components this way. So if I were to shoot it again, he now is missing his arm because I destroyed that chest piece. I destroyed his right torso, which gets rid of his right arm, and it exposes his center torso from the right. And I did something. Oh, you can do that with anything. I can damage all kinds of different parts on him. I can damage his leg, his chest, his arm, his other leg, and just blah, 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 blah. You know. Oh, I killed him. But as you see, the more damage he took, the more deeper red it became. So it goes from the blue, like I have it, or I think other people have it at like yellow or brown, to a very cherry red. Very cherry red means it's about to be destroyed. Let's move up to another mech that'll survive a little longer and give you a little more things on it. So this mech right here, we'll highlight him. Give it a second to bring up the information. Your scanners are basically scanning the mech for information on it, weapons, the damages taken, stuff like that. The loadout you see in front of it, you know, you've got the letter designation, which is random. It's just given to him randomly, and you know that changes map to map. You've got the up here. This percentage here is the percentage of total damage the mech has sustained. He is sitting at 100%, and as I do damage, it'll go down. So you do a little damage. So I've done damage to, you know, basically everything but his arms and his head. Now he's at 92%, so I've dealt 8% damage to everything. You have the pilot's name up here. This is a testing grounds group, so there's no pilot in there, so no pilot. You have the name of the mech and its designation. You know, this is the Cicada CDA TAC 2 Alpha. So, and then you have your range here, which your range is also, crazy enough, on your little center reticle thing, though, with the 6 boxes. There's a number to the right, which is also your range, but that's the range of the thing, or the target your reticle is sitting on. So I'm sitting on a little group of land 529 meters away from me. I can also make it go infinite if I look up at the sky. So, but as we do more damage to him, you'll see that different parts of him become destroyed. And you can destroy his arms. See if I can destroy his arms without actually killing him. So there goes his one torso. Destroy this torso. Hopefully it won't take too terribly long. There we go. So he now has no arms. Excuse me. He now has no arms or side torsos. He has his center torso and his legs. The only thing you can't lose both of is your legs. If you lose your legs, so we'll kill his leg here. So now he's missing his leg. Okay, if you lose your leg, you move more than half speed, or less than half speed. I think it's like 33% speed or something stupid. And that's a good way to deal with light mechs, or any mech that's really fast, just to kill a leg. But legs are the only things you can't lose both of. So if I were to destroy this leg as well, he dies. Now there are other things like XL engines, which you can put in through the Mech Lab, they increase your speed, but they also take up both sides of your torso. So if you lose a side torso, you die because your engine gets destroyed and you can't do anything. So, you know, that's basically the basics of how to set up your weapon sets, set up your weapon groupings, and the basic description of everything on the side except for heat. Heat. That's the number that's going up right now on the bottom right next to the map. That red bar, that's heat. If you hit a high enough heat, you'll shut down. Let's shut myself down. That is what happens when you shut down. When you shut down, you are unable to do anything. You can't move. The only thing you can do is to forcibly bring yourself up. Now, after a second, your mech will bring itself back up normally. Now, the higher the heat you deal, the more damage you take. I took damage, as you can see by my little paper guy down at the bottom. My center torso is damaged because I took more than 100% heat. I damaged myself. Now, I will show you as soon as we're ready. This mech can kill itself. It's really funny. So, mitigating heat is a big portion of keeping yourself alive, keeping yourself doing damage. So, that is, again, one reason why you would set up weapon groups. I've got this mech set up specifically so I don't kill myself. You know, I've got weapons set up so that I don't overheat myself too fast by shooting too many lasers and blowing myself to Kingdom Come, which, again, I'll show you in a sec. But, okay, so that's a basic rundown of everything you can do in-game and a basic rundown of the HUD in front of you. So let's kill myself, shall we?
Heat level critical.
Oh. Hit the override. Oh, look, I died. I overheated. Okay. And again, after you come back in, you'll get set to your home page, or your home spot. Now, unlike some games like this, such as, you know, World of Tanks and stuff, you need to pay for repairs. I don't believe you need to in this. But, have I missed anything? No, that seems to be about it, right? Alright, so, that is a basic rundown and kind of a noob look at MechWarrior Online for the noobs out there, from a noob out there. So, that has been MechWarrior. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments or hit the like button if you did enjoy. If I missed anything, or if you guys want to... If I missed anything, or if you guys wanted me to look at something specific, let me know in the comments. And I have been Stickman Reaper. You guys have been amazing. This has been MWO, and I hope to see you on the battlefield. Have a good one, everybody.